What is going on, guys? We are breaking down the last card of 2025. We're going to end this year on a high note. And yeah, just keep it here. We're going to break down all these fights. I'm going to tell you exactly who I think is going to win and also the likelihood of it going over 1.5 rounds. That is why I titled this Making the Rounds, right? Now, without further ado, let's just go with the first card of the fight. We got, of course, Teresa Bleda versus Jamie Lynn Horth, women's flyweight over here. Now, who am I leaning? I mean, I got to go with Bleda. I've been leaning her from the beginning, even before I looked at tape. And yeah, my opinion hasn't changed. I think she's well-rounded, and she also has a size advantage. That size advantage at this level, she women's MMA can make a big difference here. And I think she can actually impose takedowns maybe, and even control the scrambles. I mean, that size is a big advantage for her. I mean, Horth is solid, but I think she's maybe less tested at the elite level. I just think she's going to struggle with that size. And as far as it going over 1.5 rounds or 7 minutes and 30 seconds of the fight, if it goes over that, yeah, I think more often than not it does. I mean, it's flyweights. You've got grappling and striking mixing in there. So you're obviously going to see it go. Wouldn't be surprised if it went by decision. So I think, yeah, over 1.5 rounds, a total fine, chalky, parlay leg. Teresa Bleda, also another parlay leg. And then even Teresa Bleda by decision would be a good one also. So yeah, no hot takes there, guys. Let's keep going. Now, next one, Alan Fry versus Alan Fry Jr. versus Guilherme Pat. Is that heavyweights? And yeah, I got to go with Alan Fry over here. These are heavyweights, though. It can be pretty volatile. Now, they're both unbeaten. Fry has shown. I mean, I think he's a little more defensively aware, if you want to put it that way. And yeah, I think as far as his grappling transitions too, if you have a good grappling ability, it can actually help you in heavyweight because everyone's got power at that size, right? But Pat is tough though. But I just think that if Fry's got the overall edge in this. I'm not really super confident in a parlay leg or anything like that. But yeah, I think, and as far as it going over 1.5 rounds, I'm also even less confident in that. I mean, it's heavyweight, so I mean, I think it just takes one punch to really kind of sway the momentum of the fight. And yeah, I think Alan Fry, he could actually maybe even get the scrambles and maybe even get some ground and pound going. Who knows? Maybe a sub, something, get a finish. So I would say if fight doesn't go the distance, maybe you want to do that one, or maybe I'll have an Alan Fry in a parlay. But that's really tricky, like I said, because it's heavyweight. So I don't have a really strong read on this one just because there's too many red flags. But yeah, that's my take on it. Probably gonna hit, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially not on this. You don't want to be losing all your money on heavyweights in the prelims, guys. It's not good. All right, now let's go on. Next one, Luana Santos versus Melissa Croden. Was that women's bantamweight? And kind of going. I've been back and forth on this one, but I'm leaning Luana Santos actually in this one. But she's got size and power, and also I think that's her strong positional control if she does get her down. Croden, I mean, she can strike. If you saw her last fight in the UFC. I think, but I think Santos' pressure, she has the path to victory there. I think she can grind it out, be tactical, and maybe even get a decision win here. I think, yeah. So that's why over 1.5 rounds, I do think more often than not it does. Probably at least 65% of the time, guys, got to go over 1.5 rounds. I mean, I think yeah, just it's not a hot take. So I mean, I've seen some people on Croden though. I mean, I get it. I kind of get it, but I think Santos, yeah, I think like I said, maybe if she's smart, she'll mind her P's and Q's and try to use that grappling advantage to kind of slow down the fight, get some fight time going, maybe get some ground pound just to at least convince the judges and the ref that I am doing something here. I'm not just because a lot of times with the ground and pound and stuff, or rather the control time, won't necessarily give you a victory if you're not giving enough damage or something. If your opponent gets up and starts striking you or lighting you up on the feet, the judges are going to be swayed by that. So, but I think Santos should be able to get it probably in over 1.5 rounds, should be fine for a parlay leg. So yeah, moving on. Sean Sheriff versus Steven Aspelin. This kind of has a lot of hype behind it. Aspelin here, I mean, he even appreciate the memes of people saying that he looks like the Beast Titan from freaking Attack on Titan. Shingeki no Kyojin, for those of you that like to watch in Japanese. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a meme. And I think I am leaning him by meme power. He's got the power of the memes, the power of the internet on his side. But yeah, I mean, I think he's got experience. He's got good striking and he's decent. He'll go out there. He'll put your lights out. I think and that could if Sheriff doesn't weather that storm early, we can see him. Aspelin really take over. And Sheriff is wild, but I think that kind of opens up to counters as well. I think it's just but it's heavyweight, you know. I mean, it's tough. So that's why go over 1.5 rounds. I mean, I don't know. Probably not. I mean, think there's gonna be fast starts from both guys. It's gonna be. I think someone's gonna go down. I think I would. If you ask me which one, over 1.5 or under 1.5, I would pick the under 1.5. But the odds are probably gonna be chalky, and it's not gonna be worth it. You know what I mean? It's just like, but yeah, I think Asplin probably is gonna get it done. Kind of gonna land something big, and I think fight doesn't go distance could be a good parlay leg too if you don't like that, or just maybe just enjoy this fight. But I think Asplin does take it more often than not. It is heavyweights, guys, so just be careful. Yeah. So let's go on. Yarsalov versus Amazov versus Neil Magny. An interesting fight here. We had welterweight. Yeah, it's a tough one. I am kind of leaning. I've been back and forth. I mean, look, Magny, man, if you've been fading Magny, he's just an underdog. Like, he will weather the storm, and he has that experience. And if you gas out, if you give him any chance later on to finish it or to win, to steal the win from you, he will do so. You know what I mean? It's just burned in our minds, guys. That mallet. I mean, he couldn't survive 15 more seconds or something. And just, you can't be doing that. You got to mind your P's and Q's. You got to really put the work on Magny. So I get it. But I am still leaning Amazov here. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Neil Magny, I mean, he's an elite grappler, right? Amazov, and so he could get the control time. That's why I kind of lean him. It's just, but I just feel like I don't know. He's got that Bellator championship pedigree. He's good. But I mean, people in the UFC, Neil Magny, he's got that veteran status in the UFC. He's been proven. He's seen it all. So, but I do think I like Asmov's ability to chain takedowns. And I mean that top control can help him, just like I was saying with the Santos fight. It can help you. So I think in that top control, he can kind of neutralize Magny's game, because Magny kind of wants to pitter patter, kind of break you down. He just kind of whittle away at your HP, if you will, kind of get you against the cage, kind of hit you there. And but I mean I think it's weird. It's like that's why with this one I do lean it, but I mean who knows? Maybe you want to hedge. You could just put Neil Magny, late, round 3 or decision or something like that, that's because. But I think, and as far as this going over 1.5, bro, rounds though, you believe, yeah, I think 75% of the time it's got to, right? I mean, just typically, it's wrestling, and he could drag in deep waters. Magny is no stranger to going to deep waters, and I think the wrestling there, he could be on the top, find himself in guard. So yeah, I do think over 1.5 is a good one here. And if you do have Amazov in a parlay, maybe you want to do a little pre-hedge with Magny if the odds are good. Like I said, start, by a round 3 finish or decision if you have that. Something like that would be good, maybe. But anyway, let's go on, guys. Joe Anderson Brito versus Isaac Thompson, featherweight. Yeah, obviously Brito. I mean, he had to, late nose change in opponent. But yeah, I mean, look, Brito's experience. I mean, even if it wasn't, I was already going on Brito's side anyway. But he's got experience here. He's got a pressure style. And I think so. I mean, look, short notice debut. It's just bad, man. I mean, Thompson is talented though. But I mean, this is just it's just his fight to lose, really. And over 1.5 rounds, I'm not I think it is. I mean, we could see because of Brito's aggression. I mean, I would say, yeah. I mean, he could be smart. I would just try to choke him out. I would try Brito should get the pressure going, try to get a submission in, or maybe get some round and pound or something. I mean, I don't know. But I think I'm kind of with it being a debutant. I mean, 50%. I honestly I don't have a strong read on the over 1.5. It wouldn't surprise me if it went over. But I would be, I'd be also really happy if it went under. Maybe Brito is like, you know what? Hell no. I'm prepared. You are coming at short notice. Get the sub in or something. So, yeah, I mean, Brito, maybe in Brito by inside the distance. You might want to sprinkle on that. But, yeah, I mean, Brito's probably going to be a good parlay piece for a couple of parlays, guys. No hot takes there. And then, then the last one on the prelim card, we got Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. Very interesting fight. This is a women's strawweight. And, yeah, I mean, it's such a weird one. I think it's Robertson is kind of being a favorite here. I get it. And I was kind of back and forth on this. I just almost feel like Lemos as a dog is kind of so tempting. I mean, she's got power, right? She's got striking accuracy. I mean, Jillian Robertson has improved, though. Before, she was more sub or bust. And I guess she kind of is in a way, too. But she was kind of smaller, and she would not have the best striking. She would just kind of try to, put some strikes in to get you down, to trip you or something. But, because obviously a lot of times she would be kind of physically a little bit weaker than her competition. But she's been improving. She's gotten stronger. I think she's gotten stronger. Her hands have been looking better too. I think she's really kind of come into her own groove. So I get leaning her, but Lemos is a dog, like I said. I mean, in this little short cage, you know what I mean? This little small, the octagon here. I mean, I think her takedowns. I mean, I don't know if she's going to blast a double leg and get Lemos down necessarily. But Lemos, like I said, it could happen. Lemos she's not like she's going to has the best takedown defense necessarily. I mean, because Robertson, like I said, she's a lead on the mat, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, well, I think Lemos' takedown defense could hold up, and then she's got good counter strikes as well. So, she can, if she keeps this fight on the feet. I mean, I think she could really steal it. But yeah, and as far as that's why over 1.5 rounds. I mean, yeah, 70% of the time it's got to. We got striking and grappling mixing in there, so I think we're gonna see a wild kind of women's MMA fight. And yeah, I'm not like, if you do have, I get Robertson being a favorite, but I think Lemos is a good dog. And so, just in case, if you have, Robertson, some parlays or something really heavy, it wouldn't, look at the odds, guys. It might be a nice time to hedge, or even just a slight pre-hedge maybe. Because, yeah, I mean, it could happen. Maybe even Lemos by decision. Could be a fun one to just kind of sprinkle on just in case, So take it what you will. I think over 1.5 should be decent, though. All right. Now let's go. We are in the main card, guys. We're in the main card here. King Green versus Lance Gibson Jr. at a catch weight, which is very interesting. So kind of weird. I am kind of leaning Green, to be honest with you. That's my pick. If you ask me who am I picking, kind of going with Green here. I mean, he's got the UFC experience. And he has had recent struggles, obviously, so it's kind of hard. You might want to fade him, but I mean, he might have a tactical advantage here. He's kind of seen it all, minus P's and Q's. I mean, because we've got newcomers in the UFC. They might, that pressure and the pace demands. I mean, you might see him kind of fade. I mean, just kind of like the Neil Magny as well. When you got these vets in the UFC, they've cut their teeth in the organization. They could steal it here. So I'm not super confident, but I do think. I get it. I have to look at the odds here, though. Check out the odds, how they say. Look at the line movement. But if King Green, if you have some decent odds to him, I think he's decent to play. And as far as it going over 1.5, I'm not super confident over 1.5 this. I think it does more often than not, maybe. But actually, I don't know, man. I think it's I could see it going under in a way, just because maybe King Green gets caught, or maybe he does land. Maybe he gets in his flow. He lands something slick, He's not really known for that one KO power necessarily, but once he gets his movement, hands down, he'll kind of slick. He'll want to counter you and kind of hurt you on the feet. And you could see something, maybe, I could see it not going to decision, So that might be a good one too. If fight doesn't go the distance. I think, yeah, there's a lot of times where it just doesn't go the distance. I'm sorry. So yeah, that could be a good one too. So again, not super confident in parlaying these, but yeah, fight doesn't go distance could be good. And depending on the odds, I think King Green could be decent to play, man, just on its own. Look at the odds though; they might change. All right, so we got to move on. Kennedy Nchekwu versus Marcus Buchecha at heavyweight here. Man, yeah, I got to go with Nchekwu, but it's heavyweight, guys, But I do have to go with him. He's more seasoned, with this high level competition. Like I said, that's kind of a theme with this card as well. You got to look at people with experience, And I do think he does have better striking defense than Buchecha, but Buchecha, he's got the submission pressure though. Like that. If he's smart, he's gonna mind his pews. That's a path to the victory, man. He's elite grappling, but I'm not sure if it's really gonna translate so well at this. Going into the UFC, and I don't know, man. I could see Nchekwu, maybe he uses experience and be like, nope, try to keep on the feet, try to land something big. And if so, I think I got to go with Nchekwu here. Yeah, and I think as far as it going over 1.5 rounds, I think if you ask me to choose which one, over or under, I'd have to choose under, but I'm not saying I'd really like to play that necessarily because the odds are probably going to be crap. But I do think it doesn't go to decision. Maybe 40% of the time it goes over 1.5, but so, I would say 60% of the time, maybe it goes under. I wouldn't be surprised at all because, it's just going to be like a KO or a sub is going to happen maybe. But, yeah, I think Nchekwu is a play here, but heavyweights, guys, got to be careful. Got to be careful with it. All right. So let's go to the next one, guys. Yep, it's a very interesting one. I'm looking forward to it. Melquizel Costa versus Morgan Charre. I'm butchering these names. This is a featherweight. Very interesting matchup. I think it's going to be a banger. Costa, I got to kind of lean him. I could see Morgan coming back. I'm kind of a fan of Morgan in a way, but he has had some, recent losses. And, Costa, he walks forward. He's got effective wrestling, too. He's a pretty well-rounded fighter. And, has that consistent pressure, which I like. You want to see that, and I think that could frustrate Charre because Charre has some good kickboxing, but if you pressure him, you get in his face, it can prevent him from using his game plan, or rather his style. So, because he needs that striking rhythm. He wants to land that, kickboxing style. So, obviously the path to least resistance, I think Costa should really use the grappling here, really frustrate him. Get him in his face. Don't let him get comfortable. And as far as it going over 1.5 rounds, yeah, I think, more often than not it does. I think maybe 65% of the time I would say it does. The grinding style, if Costa uses some grappling, And Chera, he's a durable guy. I don't necessarily see a KO happening really. I think it's going to go on. I wouldn't even be that surprised if it went all 3 rounds. But yeah, I think Costa in over 1.5 rounds is decent. But yeah, I mean, you will see maybe Morgan Chera. It's kind of he really needs to get a win here though. But yeah, I got to lean Costa here. All right, going on the next fight: Cesar Almeida versus Cezary Oleksiejczuk. This is another one I'm really looking forward to, man. The younger brother, the Polish power coming in, man. This is that middleweight. I got to go with Alexei here. Go with the Polish power. Cezary. I mean, Alexei, he's more the complete MMA fighter, I think, and I also got the grappling plus side, I think, of the two. And so I think Almeida has got his power. He's got power there, so I mean, you have to watch out for that. But I mean, if Alexei gets in trouble, he could use some grappling there. So I think he kind of will maybe just pressure and grappling thrown in. I think he'll kind of like be up on the scorecards. So that's why over 1.5 rounds though. This one, I mean, I don't know, middleweight division at this size. I mean, I don't know. I could see it though. Actually, I think it does more often than I think. If you ask me which one, if it goes over or under, I'd have to take the over. But I'm not super confident in parlaying it necessarily. But if you ask me which one, I think it's like, maybe even 50-50. But I mean, I think maybe slightly more than that. But I mean, look, I think we could see them. I think it could be a nice striking battle. When if he ever feels some trouble or he feels an opening, he could get a little takedown or actually mix in some grappling at least force it, or rather, you know what I mean, threaten it. But yeah, I think that's why I think Cesar Alexei, I gotta take him here. And over 1.5 rounds, not so confident in a parlay leg, but I think more. I have to go say it goes over more often than it goes under. If you want me to say that. All right. Anyway, let's just go. We're done with that. Let's go. Giga Chikadze versus Kevin Vallejos at featherweight. Now, I think. I was kind of when I saw before tape started, I was looking at Chikadze and I was like, man, that's a big size advantage here. And he's got slick. He's got legit kickboxing here. He got good striking, but I think I have to kind of go with Vallejos here, Kevin Vallejos. I mean, he's a versatile striker. He's got heavy hands, right? And he's actually shown improvement in the UFC. It's really good. He's got the UFC experience. He's shown improvement in his fights. But I mean, Chikadze thrives off that range. If he can use his range, his height, timing, to trying to pressure Vallejos when he comes in, maybe counter him. He's got those kicks if you can get the kick game going, at the distance. But I think maybe even mess him. Maybe even like it's weird because maybe even like force some messy exchanges. Like if Chikadze can, if Vallejos wants to use pressure, Chikadze can kind of like make pressure him with the kicks, force him to kind of come in and maybe counter him. But I think Vallejos, like I said, he's got the power. I think outside of something like a head kick KO or something like that, I think Vallejos should actually take it. Mix it up, make it a dirty fight, or not dirty, let's say an ugly fight if you want to do it. I think as far as going over 1.5 rounds, I think it usually does more often than not. I mean, they're strikers, they're both durable, right? And I think we're going to see a kind of calculated, nice back and forth, fun fight. But I do think, I have to lean with Vallejos, and I think over 1.5 is actually a decent parlay leg. So take that with what you will. Shut up, damn light, talking to me. All right. Now, here we are. Finally, the main event. We are with Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. This is at flyweight. It's the main event. And, man, I've been back and forth with this one. I mean, look, first of all, let's just play this. Royval is always a good dog. He's raw dog, and he's a good dog. He's dangerous everywhere. I mean, but we have to talk about Kape here. I think, Kape, he possesses a more refined striking of the two. And the timing, he's going to get wild, too. But he's shown, when you watch his Ryzen fights, I remember I was watching that here in Japan on TV, and I was a fan of his. I thought he was a very entertaining, very hot-headed guy. Got good power. He's got the more power of the two, I would say. And I think the counterpunching can also help him as well. So that could exploit the wild entries of Royval if he comes in. You don't want to be just having hands on. You want to get hit by. You can only take so many shots like that, man. But Royval, he's got a high pace. He's dangerous everywhere, which I like. That's a good. That's why he's a good dog. But as far as defensively, he does have holes there. And I think that's really dangerous. Like I said, they can make him hittable, and you don't want to get hit too much with someone like Kape, who's going to really explode in there and land something on you. So I think if Royval does get it to Matt, though, I think that's one thing, though. I mean, he could actually get maybe some scrambles and he has a sub threat though as well. You know what I mean? Maybe lock in a guillotine or something. But I think Kape's disciplined maybe in his exchanges. And I think he has a clear path to victory in that. Just don't really play it. Just try to use your takedown defense. Try to get back up. Don't try to go into the guard of Royval. And so I think I was both. I think I am leaning Kape. Kape is good. Manel Kape is good because Kape, whatever you want to call it. I've heard it both ways. But Manel is like, I think think about it, it's the last one. If he's in your parlay, guys, this is a good time to hedge because Royval is always a good dog. And I think as far as it going over 1.5 rounds, I'd have to say yeah. I would say more often than not. I mean, it's a 5-round fight. We got the pacing. I mean, they're both durable guys, and I think I wouldn't even be surprised if it goes later in the rounds, like maybe goes in round 3, goes in round 4, hell, maybe even decision. But I do think, yeah, 1.5 is gonna be chalky, but a decent parlay leg, and I think Royval is a good dog, so be careful with that. Like, I think if it's a good time to hedge if you have a lot on Kape, here. So, yeah, I mean, even look at some props there, like Royval by sub would be a fun one. Manel Kape by KO would be cool too. Look at that. So anyway, I don't want to make it too long, but I broke out all the fights on this. Please sub and comment and all that stuff. If you made it this far, you are a real one. Let's kill it this last event of 2025.